Hi, and welcome to my introduction to the Advanced Linguistic Influencing and Negotiation Skills training. So what is an influencing and persuasion skills training? And why would you very much want to learn it, apply it, and ultimately master the powerful structure of language to communicate effectively? What are all your relationships like at the moment? Which ones can you predictably influence, and which ones are harder or even near impossible to predict? And what could you achieve, and how much more satisfying would these relationships be if you could always influence them effectively? Where are you in terms of the success that you want? Nothing is created alone. You need other people to help, to support and to collaborate with you in all of your actions and interactions to ensure your future successes. So how influential are you in being able to create that perfect support and collaboration all the time? Do you have the level of financial abundance that you want? All the money that you want to have and are going to have at this moment in time is currently in the hands of other people. Who has it, and why would they give it to you? What value could you easily influence them with in exchange? Natural-born leaders communicate in an engaging, charismatic and influential way with everyone all the time. They do this by masterfully creating and controlling with their language and energy the reality inside the minds of their listeners. They connect by first being relevant and relatable, recognizing and acknowledging the other person's value. Then in triggering what they aspire to, they can ultimately encourage what motivates them to believe in themselves and all that they can achieve. And this can become easy to do when you have studied and perfected how you use and control language influentially, in both listening and speaking for yourself and for others. This is what the Advanced Linguistic Influencing Persuading Skills Training is all about. I, like you in the past, have had my fair share of frustrations centered around making myself understood and on occasion understanding. Either in my relationships or in my past career within sales and management. When I was much younger, I very much suffered from deciding all too early in situations that I was right. And then that weird thing happens, you know, where your ears seem to stop working completely and you stop listening. And then I would set about, in an overly bullish and usually forceful way, though to be fair on myself I didn't recognise it at the time, attempting to prove exactly how much I was right. You know, the old say it again but say it louder technique, delivered in an emotionally engaged, die to be right sort of a way. And surprise, surprise, it didn't often work particularly well, or with any sort of predictable regularity. Even the times where I thought it had worked, and my communication had been clearly received, the actions of the other person then, over a period of time, informed me otherwise. There are several forms of communication, but most falls into two main types. Either force or influence. Force can seem very effective at the time, but believe me, it will always be a short-term win. Here are just 5 of the main types of force. You may recognise having used a few of them, or possibly felt the pressure of them being applied to you. Type 1. We have all experienced where someone has some form of authority over you. Where a perceived boss, in all of their forms, literally tells you on a daily basis exactly what you have to do, when you have to do it, and sometimes even how you have to do it. Now notice here, there is usually very little why. Type 2. Now these are those short-lived, highly contextualized power over interactions. You know, the Jobsworths of the world, or I know something you don't know sort of situation. Where someone can milk their tiny moment of power and make you jump through unnecessary hoops for nothing more than their own personal, rather small-minded satisfaction. Type 3. Now type 3 is a biggie, and may not be immediately recognised as force. The dreaded emotional blackmail. If you've ever heard yourself mutter, anything for a quiet life, or you've had someone help you feel an overwhelming sense of guilt, then there's a good chance that you've been forced to temper or even change your decisions through emotional pressure applied by another. Type 4 is a person driven by a die-to-be-right mentality. Maybe their confidence needs it. Maybe they're after some form of secondary gain, or have a need for recognition. These are the people that are like a dog with a bone. They will wear you down until you agree. Although you won't actually have agreed, you will simply have given up. It can at times seem like having to deal with a petulant toddler. Now, type 5 is your out and out, straightforward, everyday, common or garden bully. Those people that constantly look for opportunities to prey on the weakness of others, to hide their own fears, inabilities and inadequacies. Usually using either their superior physical strength, intelligence and mental agility, cutting cruelty or cunning manipulation. Force can never truly work long term because it constantly needs topping up. Pressure has to be applied on an ongoing basis. The minute it eases off, free will and free thinking will quickly once more blossom, allowing the poor victim to at last focus their attention on their own unique wants, needs and desires. Force is a win-lose exchange and interaction. Influence, on the other hand, is a win-win exchange and interaction. And it's significantly more powerful in the short and long term, so only really needs to come in one main type. Influence is a positive collaboration driven by aligned intent, genuine interest, integrity and the skillful use of language to create inception within the mind of the other person. Force is telling people what they have to do. Influence is getting them to a place where they tell you what they're going to do. Which, of course, when done well, will just happen to be exactly what you would like them to do also. And this is the advanced skill set that I will train you in and help you to master if you choose to join me for my Advanced Linguistic Influencing and Persuading Skills Training, or ALI for short. You know better than anyone where you are right now, and you pretty much know what it is that you want to get out of being more influential. And that's the key point that you can leverage to make the right choices that you know will support you. Language is what we use to represent reality. Results are results, but fantastic effective results have already morphed and changed in your mind. Now all we need to do is take this process that we've made into a tangible, squeezable thing and have you imagine that it's yours and that your actions have created it. So as you go out to this very time in the future where you're now being incredibly influential, creating the kind of results that you've wanted all along, and look back at now and realize that this is the pivotal decision point that made it all a reality. How do you feel knowing now that you have discovered the key differences that make all of the differences for you? And what else is now possible for you because of it? If you now want to find out more, go to nlpcoachingskills.com and on that page fill in your name and email and click the big green button that says Get Instant Access. The link to the page is below this video. Here you'll get an idea of the full curriculum of all that you can learn in this incredibly powerful 5-day advanced influencing and persuading skills training, along with 2 game-changing listening techniques and 2 easy-to-apply influencing techniques that you can learn today by simply downloading this free introduction to the Advanced Linguistic Influencing Skills Training. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this PowerPoint presentation today, and I look forward to assisting you to become far more influential in the future.